Welcome to Karma's Harvest. Today we share the story of a man who believed a rifle made him a king, only to discover that nature's scales always find their balance. This is the tale of the hunter and the gilded stag. In the heart of the Whispering Valleys, there lived a man named Elias. Elias was not a man of hunger, he was a man of sport. He didn't hunt to fill his belly. He hunted to fill his walls. His home was a museum of silent stone-cold eyes and preserved fur. But there was one trophy he craved above all. Others, the great gilded stag of the elder wood. The elders warned him. Elias, they would say, the gilded stag is not meat and bone. It is the breath of the forest. To spill its blood is to silence the heartbeat of the land. Elias only laughed, cleaning the silver barrel of his rifle. A deer is a deer, and its head will look magnificent over my hearth one autumn dawn when the mist clung to the earth. Like a burial shroud, Elias tracked the stag into the forbidden grove. He found it standing in a pool of golden light. The stag was magnificent antlers like frozen lightning, eyes deep and ancient as the stars. As Elias raised his rifle, the wind suddenly died. The forest went silent. A voice thin as a dry leaf whispered in his ear, "Take what is not yours, and you shall never taste the earth's bounty again." Elias pulled the trigger. The stag fell without a sound. No blood stained the grass instead. The animal dissolved into a swirl of amber leaves that scattered in the wind. Elias stood over the empty spot, confused but triumphant. He returned home that night, his heart heavy with a strange, cold pride. His wife had prepared a feast-roasted lamb, fresh bread, and sweet wine. Elias, famished from the trek, took a large bite of the warm bread. But as he chewed, the flavor of grain vanished. The texture turned sharp and papery. He spat it out, only to see a pile of dry brown oak leaves on his plate. He tried the lamb. It felt succulent for a second, then turned into brittle maple leaves in his throat, choking him. He reached for the wine, but as it touched his tongue, it became liquid dust and dried pine needles. Panic set in. He tried fruit, honey, even plain water. Every single thing he touched with his lips, transformed into the debris of the forest floor. Days passed. Elias grew thin. His strength withered. He looked at his trophies on the wall, and they seemed to mock him with their glass eyes. He realized then that he was starving in a house full of food. The curse was not in his stomach, it was in his soul. Desperate, he crawled back to the forbidden grove. He knelt where the stag had fallen and wept. "Please," he croaked, his voice like grinding stones. "I understand now. Life is not a trophy." The wind swirled, and the silhouette of the gilded stag appeared in the mist. It did not speak, but the message burned into Elias's mind. One life taken. 1,000 lives must be given. For every tree that breathes, a seed of forgiveness grows. Plant the forest you tried to silence. The next morning, with trembling hands, Elias dug the first hole. He planted a sapling. He tried to eat a grape, it was still a leaf. He planted 10 trees, then 50, then 100. He spent years in that grove. He became a ghost of a man, skin parched and hands calloused, living only on the hope of a single bite of food. He learned the language of the soil. He protected the saplings from the frost. He watched the birds return to the branches he had provided. By the time he reached the 900th tree, Elias had changed. He no longer saw the forest as a playground for his ego. He saw it as a cathedral. He apologized to every tree he planted. Finally, the day came. The 1,000th sapling was a silver birch. As he patted the earth around its roots, Elias collapsed, exhausted. He was ready to die among the trees he had raised. He reached out and picked a wild blackberry from a bush that had grown near his first planting. He placed it in his mouth, closing his eyes, expecting the familiar crunch of a dry leaf. Instead, a burst of sweetness exploded on his tongue. It was tart, cool, and undeniably real. He wept as he swallowed the first bit of nourishment he had tasted in a decade. Elias never returned to his house of trophies. He stayed in the forest, the guardian of the grove he had built. He learned that karma is not a punishment, but a harvest. And sometimes, to truly feed yourself, you must first learn how to feed the world.